Test, test, test. Hello. Are we live? Do you see? I'm not trying to rip off anyone's video. There is one playing in my screen. Let's see if I'm live, live, live. Okay, so as not to make this about somebody else's video, and I'm not trying to really rip on this guy, but this morning I clicked on a video that says music theory basics, modes, and how to use them. I'm 13 minutes in, and the confusion is going deeper and deeper and deeper. Why does this happen? This guy that you know is on the screen here. Great guy. I like his videos. And as far as knowledge goes, this guy will blow me out of the water. He has years and years and years beyond me in experience in the music industry. So I cannot hold a candle to this gentleman, Mr. Rick, we'll call him, in the video. He knows a lot more than me. His chord theory is much deeper. But I think what happens in these cases, two things. You get so deep in the knowledge, you forget what it's like to be on the other end, to be a complete beginner and not know anything. And when I didn't know anything, I would have been 10 minutes into this video, still trying to figure out what he's talking about. And basically, it's 41 minutes long, and it looks like I would have spent 41 minutes with him, high-fiving his buddies on his list there that shows who's commenting on his videos, and on, and banning people and whatever he did a few minutes ago, and it just got really deeply confusing about modes, and I was just going nuts. I was like, oh my god, I just got to go jump on my computer and make a video called how to turn modes into rock music, how to rock on your guitar with modes in about 10 minutes, because that's all the time I got for you before I got to leave for work today. So let me set you straight really fast for total beginners here. Make it super, super easy. And it works like this. I'm going to give you some lists to write down so that you can practice today. First of all, write this list down. Right at the top, write the word major happy sounding modes. And there's going to be 3 of them. Okay, so let's see if we're on screen here. Oh, I better watch my watching the YouTube page is always 5 seconds behind what I'm doing, but if I watch my video capture program, I'm right on spec. So major happy, and write down these 3 modes. Write down I for Ionian. And I've got 8 million videos where I've said the exact same thing, other live streams, but let's just repeat it today. For the new people, Ionian, write down Lydian for L for Lydian, and write down M for Mixolydian. That's all you need. But actually, you know what? Don't write that down. I'm sorry. And when you go live, you make mistakes, and that's not really a mistake. We're going to write the same thing, but I'm going to give you a better order. So we're going to go major, happy, and 3. And try not to make any more mistakes. So write down L at the top for Lydian. Write down I here for Ionian. You're going to want these letters to represent, because the letters are going to come up a little later. And M for Mixolydian. These are all happy sounds, but this one is the happiest. You can do that with just some eyebrows here. This one is the happiest. Or you could even say brightest sound. Okay, this one is going to be your relatively neutral sounding, just general happy. Ionian, it's your happy birthday scale. Funny thing, right? Happy birthday. And then your Mixolydian scale, it's got a little bit of it's a little edgy happy, right? So we're still going to put edgy happy, but we might put it's going to be the darkest of the heaviest. So let's just say we know that and we don't need to write it down, okay? Put your own descriptor there. So bright, medium, darker. The same thing goes for minor 3 modes. These are your sad modes. So we're going to put the happiest of the sad modes at the top. Then we're going to make the middle of the road sad. And then we're going to have the kind of Egyptian, Latin, kind of a little bit more twisted sad. And that's going to go like this. The order, this is a mood order that we're writing down, is going to be this. It's going to be A for Aeolian. I'm starting in the middle. Ian, Ian. I always get that wrong. This one is going to be D for Dorian. It's sloppy, but I only got 10 minutes here, so I got to hold on. All you're going to do is write these notes down. I'm going to teach you modes in 10 minutes. And how to rock with them, too. And so we got P for Phrygian, all right? Or Phrygian. You guys know how I always mess that up. I just hate that word. And I don't use that mode very much. But if you play metal, you can start using that one. But metal even twists this up a little bit more with deeper theory with one note change, and you don't need to know all that. Today you just want to play in these modes. Why would you want to do that? Because you're eliciting moods, okay? So, without having to know any super deep sharp fourth theory, whatever the deal is, what he's showing you on his page, the guy in the beginning of the video, is something, just a way deeper way to explain it, a more complex way to explain the same exact thing I'm explaining here. You can get to what he's talking about just by knowing this. So, here's your mood order, and you write that note down so we can be done with that. Okay, so now we're going to write down them in a scale order. So this is called the scale order. So you can know how to pick these out from a scale, which will be important, from a do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Won't make sense right now, but it will as we carry on if you're brand new to modes. So we're going to write down letters in this order. I, D, P, L, M, A, and then L with an X. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, and do again. So there are 7 notes in a scale, and there they are, of the major scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. From each note comes these modes, so it's helpful to know these, this bit right here. If it doesn't make, there's no big picture that this is fitting into right now, don't worry. Just have this note when you need this information. It'll come up. Ionian. Dorian comes off the 2, do, the re, and then the mi note. So, like, say this was the key of C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. If you were in any other key, in A or whatever, just write the notes of that scale down here, and these are the note orders that'll be in. Remember, other scales will have sharps and flats. That's why we use the key of C. C is the only scale without sharps or flats. That's why it's used in all music theory basic explanations. Now, all of these are coming out of this scale. The way he did it, he's jumping scales, so it appears more complex. I think that boosts his appearance of knowing so much more, and it makes it so much more complex to you. You might be enticed to buy the book, right? There's always money involved when things get more confusing than they need to be. So I'm not selling a book. If I was selling a book, I might make some real money and have some real videos out for you in a real cool looking studio like that. So maybe a better idea. Maybe that guy's a little smarter than me for that. But here we go. Phrygian. Hey, look, I got it right. L for Lydian. And you'll see why we put the X down there. Let's drop that pen that didn't work. We should be using pencil anyways. Lydian. Mixolydian. Aeolian. Is it with an I? And then the L with the X here is for Locrian. Because Locrian has this is the sound of Locrian. It's a question. It never resolves itself. It's an enigma. It has its uses. You can, Metallica's used it. I've said that before in other videos. Since it's got a low amount of use per the other modes, we don't really talk about it much, and we leave it out to these three, the happy modes, or they're not ordered like that, but the 3 and the 3. As you can see, why we did the first list is because when they appear in the scale, they don't fall into mood order, which is what makes them a little bit, why they don't just appear right away to the beginner musician. So just to go over that, we have a major one, we have a minor, a major. Now this one is a major, but it's also known, if you ever hear about that seventh chord, Mixolydian, the 5, it's always this one. This is your 4 and your 5, your 1, 2, your 3, 4, 5, off your 6th interval and your 7th interval, okay? And Aeolian is minor. Write that list down so later, if you get confused when I'm saying something, you'll have this list, you go back to it, and it'll make sense to you. Okay, so you want to start making some rock and roll tunes. Basically, it works like this. Let's go back to actually that list. Let's say I want to make the Aeolian sound. I'm going to take the 6th interval of whatever scale I'm at. In our example, we're in the key of C, and that would be the A. Funny thing, it just so happens to line up with A, and D even lines up with D, but it's just a coincidence. So, let's say we wanted to do Mixolydian. I'm going to take my 5 chord in the key of C, which is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is the G. And I'm going to make that G a 7th chord. Or let's say I wanted to do Lydian. And then we're going to practice Lydian today. It's got a cool sound. I would go down to the 4th chord in the scale. And that's going to be my Lydian sound. So to do this, you have to know chord theory. But all chord theory is that you build a C chord, build a D minor chord, build an E minor chord, an F major chord, and that's what's going to make the mode pop out. I always have to repeat this online, and I seem to be the only one saying this on YouTube, and I just don't understand why. Let's look at something here so you'll understand what the point I'm going to make here. All of these are in the key of C. Every mode is coming out of one key. All right, any key has all these modes available. These are degrees of the scale. Okay, when you hear the word degrees. So on the 4th degree, is Lydian. But it's the thing to know here is all coming out of the C major scale of all these notes. So no matter what mood I'm trying to, and notice I said mood, not mode. They're the same thing. These are moods. Mood, right? No matter which mood I want to elicit, it's the same exact scale. Now, right there, you should have a question. Okay, wait a minute. How does the same scale sound like 7 different moods or 6 different moods? And here's the kicker. It's not the scale that you're playing. It's the background music or chord. If the background chord is the 4, it's going to sound Lydian. The same exact C major scale will sound Lydian. It's like magic, and it's awesome. But this is the magic. It's not real magic because here's the information of how it works. This is the magician's tricks that the magician doesn't tell anybody. And maybe that's why that video goes on, because a good magician never tells his tricks, so maybe a good musician never tells their tricks. But this is the real deal. So, for example, if I go to YouTube and I find a Lydian backing track that's going to be focused on the 4 chord, and I can play the C major scale, the same old scale that I know, and I'm going to sound like I'm being a cool Lydian player. Try it for yourself so you get all these sounds in your head. How to do that? Don't try, you can try major and major or minor and minor, but they're close enough that maybe as a new player, you won't be nuanced enough to really milk these sounds out. So try a major and then try a minor. Try a F Lydian and then try an E Phrygian backing track. You can find both of those on YouTube and just play the C major scale, noodle around the C major scale. And you're going to elicit both of those sounds. You're going to be amazed that the same exact notes sound totally different. Like magic, totally cool. And that's the magic of modes. So just to go a little further here while I have a half a minute, which I really don't. And remember, if I'm talking real fast, slow the speed down on the video. Just stop and pause, rewind, all that good stuff. All we really need to know then is the scale on our guitar, number 1. So all we need to know is the structure of the scale. And you can see my other videos on how to turn the guitar fretboard into a major scale. And that's another thing. The videos that when these modal videos come out and they point you in the direction of scales, you become boxed in on the fretboard and you can't understand why you can't make music out of modes. It just becomes some shitty exercise that's just like, oh, it's here. I played a wrong note in there, but anyways. I played it again. Anyways, there I was in B, not C. But anyways, you become boxed in with a scale and it doesn't make any sense. What you want to do is learn the scale across your whole fretboard. So now you have your entire fretboard. Learn it on my other videos. There's a pattern that makes the major scale super easy across your whole fretboard. Now, if you do that, you've got your entire instrument ready to be modal. You're making modal music, you're really close. If you want to make your own modal music, simply take a looper pedal and record this chord, a major chord, and put it anywhere you want, really, but just to make this, if you're advanced, you'll get all that, but when you're a beginner, you won't really understand. So just to get this as a beginner, take a major chord, which would be F, an F major chord, and put it through your looper. So let's try that. Now here comes the C major scale, but it should sound a little brighter. Don't mind the hair. I don't have my hat on, and I'm growing some Reggie Watts hair. So just doing that, you got the Lydian sound, which is so close to Ionian. If you're brand new, you might not have picked up the little sharp fourth, which would have been this note. Okay, so I'll get carried away because I like the sound, but it was that note right there that was really differentiating the scale. And the only difference between that and Ionian is this. That was Ionian. See how it's kind of hard to pick that out. Playing fast and so let's try a minor and let's really hear that sound, the different sound. And you can go back and listen to the first and then jump over to this that I'm going to play now to really catch the difference. And it's as simple as playing this one chord, but it's not super musical. What you want to do to create your own music, if you don't if you get tired of playing with the backing tracks and you want to be that real musician that's totally cranking out modal pieces, focus on this. Start with the chord that you want to accentuate the mode in, go to a different chord in the scale, and then come back to that chord. So you have or just make a bass line that's going from this this note and then goes to another note in the scale and comes back, and you'll have a that sound being evoked, especially if you do a bass line and a minor chord. Let's go on with this then. We'll let's do Phrygian. And so that's what do we want? We're going to play on the third note of the scale. We need an E. So here we go. We need an E minor chord. So E, Phrygian, minor. Let's hear it. I got to erase my F there. Put a little note in there to give it some taste. But we have an E minor chord going now. This E minor chord could be anything, but we're going to play a C major scale, which is going to place that E minor chord in the third position of that scale, or the third degree of that scale. And that's going to pretty much magically create a sound of Phrygian. Let's try it. So I'm basically going to play that. Before I get started, just don't want to talk over the music. I'm going to play, what I was playing there was basically what I call I was playing out of a shape. And I started at what I would call D Dorian, which is this. Started on a D note, which won't be perfect with Phrygian, but it kind of doesn't really matter. And that's where you get confused, because the technical description of a Phrygian scale starts with E and ends with E. And guess what? That's not how you're jamming out and rocking out as a rock star on your guitar. So here you go. Same scale. I don't have time to sit there and rock out for 20 minutes because I really got to get on here and get to work. Put a hat on, put a shirt on, right? I'm in construction, so I can go there looking kind of rough. But I don't know if you could hear that, but that was the same exact notes that I played in the first one that sounded kind of happy and spacey, all of a sudden sounding pretty sad and serious. And they're still sounding that way because in your mind you've got that background chord kind of happening. That's all it takes is just a little taste of these chords in the background to give that scale a new flavor. And so when you see somebody talking in a way that's like they change it around, they make C Ionian, C Dorian, C Phrygian, C Lydian. Well, you just have to figure out they're using, let's say they did C for everyone. So you're like, what? I'm confused. Now C Lydian, how does it work with what you're talking about here? It's coming from a different scale. So let's say we put C right here. What would be? We'd have C. Let's work the scale forward. C. And that'll be confusing. I'll have to figure it out. But in this way, to do it this way, I could plug this into my guitar, C Lydian, like nothing because of what I know. You can see that in other videos. But to do it this way is a little slower. C Lydian would be, well, so this would be the 5, the 6. So we'd have C, D, E. F sharp, G. So we're in the key of G. So we have G, G, A, B. Cool. Kind of neat. Looks like we've found the key of G, which is real easy from the key of C because there's only one sharp. So now we'd to make there you go. It's the 4th because from your I should have known that the Lydian is always the 4th. So what's above a 4th on your guitar? If you're here's my finger on the C note. What's above that? The G note. So you're in the key of G. Super easy. See, that's the thing. Once you plug all these, once you plug your positions, your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into your guitar fretboard, which works like this, by the way. Let's skip pages here. You can go back to this page now. So as you can see, just for the final word on this example, C Lydian is just simply a different key. So that's what the other guy was showing in his video. All these different versions of C, they were coming from different scales. Kind of make it a little more confusing for you. So you buy the book, I think, right? No books to buy. Sorry. It's way easier. So if I just played a G and played that scale, I would play G and G scale, and we'll have G basic major. If I play a C and play the same exact scale, since I started on G, we have G in our heads now. We're getting that G sound. So a way to plug this into your guitar really easy is just to know your squares setup of your fretboard. This is always your I. This is always going to be your Phrygian. This is always going to be your Lydian. This is always going to be your Locrian. Did I do that right? I fucked it up. Phrygian, Lydian. Should have known, right? Phrygian, Lydian. Don't mind me, I'm a mess up. Okay, so, and then you really have your other notes here and here, which is your Dorian. That leaves you with Mixolydian and Aeolian as the leftovers, which are M and A, right? A, D, D, M. Atom, and then your box. Super easy. And that box just goes all over your fretboard. It connects this way. It connects here, and it's your B string shift. So like, let's say this was on the G. That would be your open strings there. Your fretboard would look like this. Am I off the screen here? Probably a little bit. Your dot, and on and on and on. I'm running out of time here and getting fast and kind of probably making things more confusing than they need to be. Look at my other videos for your how to get your general scale pattern, your major scale pattern, all across the fretboard. Because remember, all the modes are all derivatives of the major scale. They come from the major scale. They provide moods of the major scale, so you're not always just playing Happy Birthday, Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. You can sound sad with the major scale in 3 different ways. You can sound happy with the major scale in 3 different ways or moods. Modes are moods. And I'm going to leave you with that. Hope you had a great day. And this was a super awesome bang out video for you. And if you thought it was, and I got you rolling in, what's the duration here? Did I do 20 minutes here? Probably 20, 30 minutes. 31 minutes. 10 minutes shorter than the other guy. If that was worth it to you, at the very minimum, throw me a thumbs up. And at the maximum, or the medium level, subscribe. And at the maximum, go see my Patreon and say, hey, Mark, that was worth $1 to me. I think you're cool because I could really use the buck. All right. Dollar menu, here I come. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. You guys are awesome. And let me get to the point where I shut the screen off here because that's what we got to do. And